This is an entry in the basic series. I haven't done a video in the basic series in quite some time, but I want to talk about Android-based gestures and the benefits of it and see if it's something that you might be interested in over using the traditional navigation bar. Now, of course, you're probably accustomed to your navigation bar, your traditional navigation bar. You've got your back button here that takes you back one step. You've got your recent apps button there, so you can cycle through all of your recent apps. You've got your home button. It'll either take you back to the home screen or it could be used as a Google Assistant as well. But since Android 10, and I'm sure going beyond that, we're going to be getting into this gesture-based system. And it's a pretty practical system anyhow. Let's go ahead and go back to where we were in settings, get back down to the navigation bar, and switch over to full screen gestures. And so now, instead of a home button, and of course, instead of the navigation bar, we just have this dash. You swipe up, and that's going to take you out of the app and into the home screen. So that's a very simple and natural motion, since you're already swiping on your screen, up, down, left, and right anyway. And since that home button doubles as a Google Assistant button, well, from either side of the screen, you can access Google Assistant, and you can do that from any screen as well. Just going to go ahead and try to pop something up there.
Here are some results.
So regardless of what screen you're on, you just swipe from the left to the right, swipe up from the bottom. That'll get you Google Assistant.
I found these results.
And I say any screen, but just about any screen. You won't be able to do so from the lock screen. So it looks like it's disabled. You don't have that function there. But once you get inside the phone, once again, you'll have any screen that you can work from. Let's get back unlocked. And let's talk next about recent apps. So for recent apps, again, we're already swiping to begin with. So from the bottom, if we swipe about halfway, you're going to get your recent apps. You swipe about halfway up, you're going to get a haptic feedback response. And this should be from whatever phone that you have. You'll get a little bit of a vibration, and then you'll start to see peeking out of the corner there. Let's get rid of it and show that one more time. You'll start to see peeking out of the left corner your apps that you can go through. Now, yes, you could just press a button and get the same thing. But I think there's something about just the swiping motion that makes it a little bit easier, since, again, you're already doing all the swiping up, down, left, and right most of the time with your functions anyhow. So it becomes sort of a natural extension of what you're doing, as opposed to having to pause, press a button. May not be the best argument, but again, once you kind of get into the flow of it, it feels a little bit more intuitive, I think anyhow.
Now we're going to talk about what represents the back button, and you'll notice I'll sound a little bit more animated here because I'm in a place where I can talk a little bit louder. You don't have that smooth jazz radio man voice going on right now. The back button might be a deal breaker as far as whether or not you'd like to use the Android gestures, and here's a couple of reasons why. You've got I'm illustrating at the top there, the menu key or the hamburger key or whatever it is that you want to call it exactly, but it pulls up that slide out menu of options. You can also slide it out, and some apps will allow you to be able to do this. Just go ahead and slide out your options. But when you have Android gestures going, you can't access that slide out menu like you normally would, because you're going to trigger the back button response, and then you're going to end up going back a step, and that's totally not what you were trying to do. Another example is if you're looking at pictures, looking at text, and you need to swipe from left to right, you know what's going to end up happening is that you're going to end up triggering that back button response when you were trying to access whatever picture that was on the left or the right of the screen you were trying to bring over. So with that, while I think Android gestures is really a natural extension of what it is that you're doing with the screen anyhow, that's my personal opinion, the back button function of it might be a deal breaker. So what do you think? Do you use Android gestures or not? Thank you very much for watching.